Hello, fellow noobs. It's a noob no more here. A risk grandmaster looking to grow the game and the community through some informative and competitive gameplay at times, and then some downright silly stuff at other times. But no silly stuff today. We're at the informative end of the spectrum. In fact, I'm kicking off a new series, my Noob-iversity series, where I look to go through a range of different concepts and explain them in a little bit more detail, rather than just go through a particular game and highlight some of the themes which came up in that game. So it's going to be a bit more on the informative end of the spectrum, as I said. And I thought a good place to start would be to let people know what content there is out there that is already very informative. In fact, I'm going to go through those videos that I found really informative on my way from not knowing the game existed to actually winning a 600-player World Championship tournament on the official Risk Discord just over 6 months later. So to all of my friends who are content creators, if you're not on this list, please don't get upset at me. I'm just going to go through those videos that were, one, really aimed at being informative, rather than just going through a game. And also I'm just going to stick to those videos or to those content creators that were most influential in terms of my journey, in terms of learning about how to play the game. And by highlighting these videos, I'm hoping you get something out of them as well. Some of them are a little bit older and have been forgotten. And I really want to bring them back to the light and let you improve your game by having a look at some of these videos as well. All right, so let's kick things off. I don't think it's going to be any surprise to anyone whatsoever that the Kill Pete strategy is first on the list. Knowing a game exists is a pretty important step to actually mastering it. So like many people, the YouTube algorithm threw up Pete at me, the Pete Winter FFA, and I remember binge watching his videos from there. And in particular, one of the key reasons I got into the game was actually the Chiquita Grinface Novice to Grandmaster series that you can see in his playlist there. Don't worry, I'm going to put a link to all these content creators and all the videos that I mention in the description, so don't feel you need to write them down or anything. But this Novice to Grandmaster series was really aimed at being informative. It wasn't just here's some gameplay and I'll pick something out interesting that happened in the game and put it in the title. It was really Pete trying to show the world how to play progressive, and he used a Novice to Grandmaster series to be able to do that. But if you have a look at these videos, you'll clearly see the vibe that I'm talking about in terms of him trying to provide some informative content about how to play progressive. So if you want to learn how to play progressive, I still think this is a great place to start. The meta has changed a bit. The game's changed a bit. Unfortunately, Pete's instructive content has been so good that the game has changed. People don't play progressive like it's fixed quite so much. They still do a little bit at times. The meta has changed a little bit. Pete's advice about not going on bad neighbor has meant that there is a bit more good neighbor and actually taking bonuses, for example, which is what he doesn't recommend you do in a game of progressive. There is another way to win games of progressive where you do take bonuses, and you'll have to watch some of my content to highlight when and where's the difference between the two approaches. But yeah, there's no doubt whatsoever that in terms of instructive content on progressive, Pete is the way to go. And yes, I definitely spent a lot of hours with Chiquita Grinface learning how to play progressive, and that's how I started the game. Moving on from that, if you're more into Classic Fixed is the most popular form of the game, and Pete's got a lot of videos on Classic Fixed as well, which are very instructive. But I think the most instructive people or person in terms of classic Risk is Risky Phil. This guy is an absolute legend at these settings. So if you like fixed games, and in particular classic fixed, please make sure you get onto this guy because his win record at classic fixed is around 72%. I'm not aware of anyone whose classic fixed record is higher than that. I think you might be able to see from some of my videos, I'm at about 65%. I've seen a lot of other content creators that are just either side of 50%. Risky Phil's win record is 72%. This guy is an absolute legend at the game. And in particular, there was one video that I thought was particularly influential. And you can see it up here. The Risky Phil checklist is what I was searching. And just going through to that now, you can see that this Phil's risk turn checklist was one of the, if not the most influential video for me. Even just highlighting that there's a process, a thought process that you should be going through on each of your turns was something that was new to me, which really helped my game. And one of the Noob-iversity things that I'm going to, or Noob-iversity videos I'm going to be producing, is my take on the risk turn checklist. This checklist is really for classic fixed, or for fixed, I should say. I've tried to develop and build on what Risky Phil has done and provide a bit more of a general checklist. Those of you that do watch me on Twitch, I'm sure, are already bored of seeing my checklist or me talking about it. Again, I'll leave that to a future video. But Risky Phil, this checklist video was without a doubt one of the highlights in terms of my journey. And yeah, wow, that was released 11 months ago. You can see here. That was 11 months ago. So this video in particular, I think, is one of those ones that people might have forgotten about, or it might not be in the algorithm anymore. It's got 942 views. Again, that is way unders relative to the information that's in this video. If you want to get better at all risk, I'd recommend this one. So Risky Phil, all his other videos as well are just amazing. You can see he's got some university style videos as well. Really good stuff from a long time ago, but his more recent content, whenever I see him on Twitch or on YouTube, he does give a concept or two that I'm writing down or saying to myself, I can't forget that. He's just a very good player at the game. The other classic fixed person that I really recommend is Slin. So he hasn't done, Mr. Slin is his name here, you can see him there. He hasn't done any risk videos for a while, but his classic fixed risk content is so chilled and he's so good at explaining his thought processes. Again, I'd recommend going through the backlog and seeing how he plays fixed. But these videos in particular were, again, hugely influential for me. They aren't just gameplay. He set aside some time about how to play from third place and how to play from second place. And again, the thought processes in there are just a unique way of showing some risk content. And again, I'll put the link in the description, but these two videos are ones that I've recommended to a lot of people when I see them play classic fixed and they're just not quite sure what to do when you get down to the final three. These videos in particular just give you a bit of game theory and give you a bit of a guide as to what you should be doing when you get down to the bottom three. So again, Slin's videos, very instructive, and then there's these two instructional videos, which you can see are not your normal gameplay videos. They're meant to be instructive. So definitely give those a look. Next is we've covered progressive, we've covered fixed. The next one you might want to look at is, if you like your progressive caps, is Speedster's video. He's the most aggressive content creator that I know that plays progressive caps. So his videos are a bit shorter than maybe some other people's caps videos, but highly entertaining, but also highly informative. Interestingly, there isn't a instructional video on how to play caps. So this was more just watching him play. He has some great videos on how to card block, on how to play caps, how to kill guard, like some of the concepts that were very foreign to me before I actually started moving away from just playing world domination, progressive and fixed. This is the guy that I used to watch a lot of when I was watching his streams, and yeah, there was so much information. Definitely go and give him a subscribe. He's got 588 subscribers at the moment. It should be a lot more of that than that if you're in any way interested in progressive caps. The next person I want to highlight is some of the other game modes that you might find interesting. And again, it's a real insight to how instructional this particular content creator tries to be, that they've actually got 3 or 4 mentions in this list, and that's Olive-XC. So Olive-XC is a 1v1 world champion, and it shouldn't be a surprise to anybody that his 1v1 content is one of the things that I would want to highlight. If you want to get better at 1v1s, this is the guy to look at. And again, there's a fairly recent video that he's done, how I became the best 1v1 player in the world. And that video's got some pretty advanced concepts in there. It's worth having a look at. But he's very good at 1v1s. And if you think that you don't want to play 1v1s, well, guess what? Whenever you're playing a game of world domination, whether it's progressive or fixed, at the end, if you're still around, you're in a 1v1. So some of these concepts that you're going to learn from 1v1 are extremely useful, even if you're just interested in playing FFA and not looking to grind the 1v1 leaderboards. So definitely worth checking Olive out for the 1v1 content, because as I said, there's a 1v1 at the end of every game that you win. So definitely worth checking out. Most of the time I know the 1v1s are so lopsided that Olive's knowledge is not going to help you. You're either winning or you're losing, and there's not much you can do about it. But geez, there's some times where I've just been where I should have lost, or where I should have won, and all of that information becomes really useful when the 1v1 at the end is close. So again, that's where I think the 1v1 content comes in really handy. Zombies, Olive again is he's very technical on these videos, right? So let me just, I don't really want to see any ads, but 1v1, yes, and then zombies, he's excellent as well. He's got some great videos on zombies. And this particular video on Crush Risk Zombies with these techniques, Tutor Tuesday, was hugely informative about how to play zombies, how big do they get each turn, where do they attack from. They attack in alphabetical order from the territory they're attacking from. That they attack in a certain direction. You can see the disconnection map. You can see the zombie pathing map. Concepts like the disconnections. All these kind of concepts, the disconnection concepts is more of a 1v1 concept. But in terms of the zombies, really getting a handle of how the zombies attack and how they think and how they move has just helped me in so many games. And if you look at some of the content on my channel towards the silly end of the spectrum, which is the zombie roulette games, you'll see me cite quite a bit of the knowledge that Olive has imparted. So again, I think he's been hugely influential in this particular zombie game mode as well. And then lastly, there's things on how to use the slider. And Olive's done a great video with JJ, and they've gone through some of the things that you need to know on how to use the slider. So again, something very technical. This is where Olive excels. Is 1v1's a very technical game. Zombies, there's some technicals that you need to know. And the slider is a very technical skill, which you need to know, I think, to excel at the game. And then lastly, Olive's also done some videos on how to play fixed caps. Speedster for progressive caps. Olive's also got a fixed caps video. So there's 4 videos that I'm citing of Olive here on instructional videos. And as I said, I think that really goes to how Olive, in terms of his presentation style, is really more on the instructional end of the spectrum rather than just showing gameplay relative to some other content creators. Now, there are some other notable mentions that I should be adding into the list. I've tried to go by game mode in progressive, fixed, caps, zombies, 1v1, etc. But there are some other notable mentions. Kilted's a very popular streamer. I really like how when you watch Kilted's videos, you can see him asking himself every single turn, how can I progress the game? It's not something that all Grandmasters do, let alone show you in their videos. So I think Kilted's probably the best at trying to progress the game. JJ I've already mentioned. He's another very good caps player and another very good player generally. Different style to Speedster in terms of how he plays caps, but again, if caps is your bag, JJ has a lot of videos on that at the moment, including a very recent Novice to Grandmaster series, which is worth watching. And then Risk Forever is another very prominent person that had an influence on me in terms of watching classic Risk videos. He was around before I really started watching Risk videos. So again, definitely worth checking out. His videos are fantastic, and he's very good at all versions of the game. I've played him in tournaments as well. He's just a very good player, and I think his content is also highly educational. Alrighty, so which one of those content creators has had the most influence on you, if you've managed to check them out? For me, it was definitely Risky Phil. I think he's the most underrated content creator out there in terms of information that you can get on how to play the game. Not just fixed, but all Risk, but in particular fixed. I think he's just the best in the world at those settings. So he was definitely the most informative for me. And then the other last thing I'd say, I have labelled this, what Risk content do you want to watch in order to get better at the game or become a Grandmaster or become a World Champion? I'd jump onto Twitch or another platform or watch a Risk live stream on YouTube or whatever platform you want to do. If you jump on a live stream rather than just watch videos, it gives you the chance to interact with the streamer and ask questions. And so that's where a lot of the questions around how to play the game, how to attack more quickly, what do I do here? Why did you do that? How do caps work? All these kind of questions you can actually ask someone in real time. So I would definitely recommend jumping onto somebody's live stream, whatever the platform is, and feel free to interact with them and ask questions. We're pretty friendly. We don't bite, not much. So please feel free to jump on and check us out, and we'll help answer whatever questions that you want to ask around the game of Risk. And part of all Risk streamers are really part entertainer and part educator, and I think some of them have more leanings towards one or the other, and other people are just game players. So make sure you go and have a look around and see which one suits your style the best. There's plenty to choose from out there. Otherwise, if you like this video and you want to learn more about the game of Risk, please drop a subscribe and a like. I'm going to do a lot more informative content on how to get better at the game. So hopefully you can come along with me, guys, and I'll show you a lot more on how to play the game and how to get better. Otherwise, feel free to drop a comment around who have I missed. What content creators have you found really informative that have really improved your game? Let us know in the comment section down below. It's not just a troll to try and get comments. Okay, partly it is. But it's not just that. I'm really keen to hear who you found particularly instructive in terms of the game of Risk. And I want to know who I missed out so that I potentially could make a better video than this one down the track. But hopefully you got something out of this. If you did, please let me know. I want to do more of these videos. As I said, there's one coming up that I want to do on what's my checklist. How to think like a grandmaster. That's going to be the title of the video. How to think like a grandmaster. If you want to see that video in particular, if you think it's something that will help with your game, again, please reach out to me to let me know. Otherwise, I'll get around to it at some point in the not too distant future. But otherwise, I hope everyone's well. Take care, and I'll see you later next time, fellow noobs. All the best. Bye.